I always say there are no coincidences. So maybe it's no coincidence that you're hearing this right now. Two teachers, same problem. Suffering. But their answers worlds apart. Stoics said, pain is the greatest teacher. Neville Goddard said, struggle is an illusion. So who's right, or are they both wrong? Let us dive deep, because if you get this wrong, if you misunderstand suffering, you risk either breaking under its weight or wasting your life fighting shadows. We start with the titans of thought, the architects of resilience, the Stoics. They built their philosophy in the heart of the Roman Empire, a time when suffering wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. Wars, plagues, betrayal, sudden death. Life in those days was a gamble, and losing was not an option. You had to confront pain head-on, couldn't ignore it, bargain with it, or wish it away. You had to meet it, learn from it, adapt. And that's precisely what Stoicism is all about. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "What does not benefit the hive does not benefit the bee." If something's not good for your character, for your growth, then it's not good for you, period. Life, according to the Stoics, was a rigorous education, and the lessons were delivered in the currency of suffering. But here's the twist. The Stoics weren't masochists. They didn't seek out pain. They embraced life fully, loved deeply, engaged in politics, business, family, but they did so with eyes wide open. They understood that while life was precious, it was fragile, and its fragility made it beautiful, made it worth cherishing. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, set the stage, but it was Epictetus, Seneca, and Seneca Marcus Aurelius, who gave us its clearest voice. Do not fear pain, and do not be ruled by the things that cause it. In other words, be brave enough to feel the pain, but be smart enough to steer clear of what causes it. And this is key. Stoicism is not about courting pain. It's about facing it squarely when it comes your way. It's not about running from the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. That's why Seneca, one of the greatest Stoics, said, "We court danger to test our courage, but we must also court hardship, for there is no excellence without it." Hardship, according to Seneca, was the midwife of excellence. Cannot bring excellence into the world without going through the pain of birthing it. The Stoics believed that suffering, when endured, became the crucible in which character was forged, the anvil upon which strength was tempered. Now let's shift gears and turn to a different corner of human thought, the realm of Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard, a mystic, an author, a teacher, and perhaps one of the most misunderstood spiritual thinkers of the 20th century. He lived in a time when the conventional wisdom was that life was fundamentally good, that happiness was a birthright, and that suffering was something to be avoided at all costs. In that context, Neville dared to suggest something radical. Struggle is an illusion. Now, that statement alone is enough to send shivers down the spines of many. Doesn't Neville sound like he's advocating a form of magical thinking? Like he's suggesting that if we all just think happy thoughts, life will automatically conform to our desires. Well, to understand Neville, we need to delve deeper. Neville's core belief was that we create our reality. And the most common way we create our reality is through our assumptions, our beliefs about life. For instance, let's say you move to a new city full of dreams and aspirations. You meet people, explore places, immerse yourself in the energy. Yet somehow you constantly feel uneasy, almost as if you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might find yourself questioning, is this place really right for me? Or am I making the right choices? These questions, these doubts, these fears become self-fulfilling prophecies. Your actions become constrained, your interactions become guarded.
Yes.
You start seeking reassurance instead of embracing new opportunities. This shift in mindset, according to Neville, can turn a promising adventure into a series of unfortunate events. Struggle, in Neville's view, is often the outcome of living in the realm of what if, rather than why not. When we replace assumptions with imaginations, when we cease to expect struggle and start expecting success, our lives begin to mirror that change. To quote Neville, pain dissolves when you live in the end. Now that sounds like a bold claim, doesn't it? Like Neville is suggesting that we can simply ignore pain, pretend it doesn't exist, and it will magically vanish. But that's a gross misunderstanding of Neville's teachings. The key phrase here is live in the end. What Neville is saying is that we shouldn't merely endure the present, we should mentally inhabit the desired future. Let me illustrate. Imagine two individuals stuck in heavy traffic. One turns on the radio and hears about the accident up ahead. He curses his luck, pulls out his phone, starts scrolling through social media, grumbling about how this is the worst day ever. The other person turns on the radio, hears the same report, smiles to himself and says, "Well, looks like I'll have some extra time to listen to my audiobooks. I wonder what interesting ideas I'll learn." Both are stuck in the same situation, but one person is miserable and the other is finding a silver lining. See, Neville would argue that it's not the external circumstance that determines our state of being, but our internal perception of it. In this example, both are stuck in traffic, but one is thriving in the moment and the other is suffering. That's what Neville means by living in the end, by imagining a positive outcome. The trick is not in denying the present, but in infusing it with the spirit of the desired future. Think of a job interview. One person walks in convinced they'll fail, nervous, hesitant. Every word betrays their fear. Another walks in already living in the end, believing the job is theirs. Same skills, same questions, but the second person radiates confidence. Who do you think gets hired? That's Neville's point in action. So who's right, the Stoics or Neville? Well, in my view, they're not mutually exclusive. At first glance, they sound like opposites. One tells you to embrace the fire, the other tells you the fire isn't even real. But when you dig deeper, they're pointing to the same battlefield, the mind. In fact, they complement each other beautifully. Think of it this way. The Stoics teach you how to stay grounded, how to weather the storms of life. They're the anchors that keep you steady when the seas are rough. Neville, on the other hand, teaches you how to navigate, how to chart a course towards calmer waters. He's the compass that guides you beyond the storms. The Stoics tell you to endure it when life hands you lemons. Neville suggests you can actually ask for oranges. And here's the beauty of it all. Just as a ship needs both an anchor and a compass to navigate the vast ocean, we need both the Stoics and Neville in our lives to traverse the complexities of human existence. The Stoics give us the strength to endure the hardships of life. Neville gives us the vision to imagine beyond them. Which path you choose depends on the situation, your mood, your current circumstance. Sometimes you need the solid ground of Stoic endurance. Sometimes you need the expansive view of Neville's imagination. The key, my friends, is to have both options in your toolkit. That way, when life throws its inevitable curveballs, you're prepared. You can endure the storm if you must, or you can imagine your way to a brighter day. The choice, as always, is yours. Here's a question for you. Which resonates more with you? The Stoic call to arms, or Neville's invitation to transcend? Or maybe you have your own perspective. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who knows? Your comment might be the missing piece someone else needs today. As for me, I'll keep exploring, keep diving deep into the vast ocean of human thought, bringing you the most profound insights to help you live a life of purpose, passion, and power. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Remember, the obstacle is the path. Keep moving. So endure the storm when you must. Imagine beyond it when you can. And never forget, both paths lead inward.